Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-Mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-Mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. A little hitch in the giddy up on the intro there. But it must be Monday. In fact, this may be the Monday that the history books recall as the day the bottom fell out. Well, we're so glad you joined us. Today is Monday, 10th day of January, 2022. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. If you're joining via the YouTube channel, youtube.com/CFRN, we're glad you joined. Unfortunately, I cannot monitor the question box on the YouTube channel because I'm monitoring the chat box on our go-to platform. And so let me tell you a way that you can join the show every day. You only have to go through this process one time, and then you'll be able to join the show each and every day with one-click access. In fact, you'll be able to join early so that you can enjoy some of the praise and worship videos that we play before the show starts. So here's how you do it. Remember, you only have to do it one time. Go to our homepage at cfrn.net. On the right-hand side of the page, click the big microphone. Follow the instructions. You'll be registered in about 30 seconds, and that will give you one-click access to the show each and every day, including the question box. Now, not only do we stream live on our YouTube channel each and every day, we also archive each and every daily show, and currently we have over 1,800 daily live broadcasts archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. So either way you join, we're just glad to have you here. Now, if you are joining it via the YouTube channel, while you're there, be sure and click the subscribe button and the little bell. This way, anytime that we go live with any kind of breaking news, you will be notified. Now, the way the one-click access works is you get an email before the show starts with a link in it. All you have to do is click the link, and that immediately logs you into the show. You don't have to type anything in. So, with that said, we'll open with a word of prayer. And I want to talk for a moment about people pleasers. Now, we know we're supposed to please God in all that we do, but some of us get caught in that gap between pleasing people and pleasing God. Colossians 3:23 says, "Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters, since you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward. It is the Lord Christ you are serving." Now, for years, I worked hard for everyone. In my home, I loved my children in hopes of giving them a good childhood. I gave my all to my career to be promoted. In ministry, I worked tirelessly to not let the congregation down or the pastors down, or to leave the church in need. My friendships became a full-time job in and of themselves, as I could not imagine the idea of creating boundaries. Although my intentions were valiant, I was often left disappointed by the response of others, and I just became exhausted from trying to please everybody. It's an exhausting job, and it's not possible. It took countless moments of betrayal and heartache to realize a change needed to be made. During this time, I started to lean into Colossians 3:23, which encouraged me, whatever you do, work at it with your heart as if working for the Lord and not for people. It became clear that much of my heartbreak reflected my own disposition. Instead of living a life that would honor God, I only wanted to be approved by those around me. I had become a slave to the expectations of others. Doing things unto the Lord requires a shift in thought. Much like the famous phrase, you might even be wearing a bracelet that says, WWJD, what would Jesus do? My actions should also reflect, how can I do this for Jesus? Serving the community should come from a desire to help God's people. Caring for my children should be a reflection of wanting them to experience God's love through me. Working hard in my career should reflect wanting to be a good ambassador to the Lord. In other words, every action should signify wanting to serve God wholeheartedly. We must also realize that whether we like it or not, there will be disappointments. There will be times when the love we give won't be reciprocated and the honor we deserve won't be granted. For this reason, Colossians 3:24 is a gentle reminder that our inheritance comes from the Lord, and that's our eternal inheritance. Unfortunately, man will always disappoint us. You could read about that in Psalm 146, verse 4. The good news is God never will. We may not see the immediate benefits of serving those around us, but the Lord ensures that we will be rewarded. Jesus encountered a similar issue when it came to his dealings with people. Judas would betray Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. Peter would deny Jesus when faced with persecution. The same community that he would minister to, heal, and deliver would turn him over to be hung on the cross. Yet in Luke 23:34, he forgave them and remembered his why. Honoring the Father in every action was his goal. In doing so, he was keenly aware that not everyone would be pleased with or appreciate his choices. Truthfully, when we are serving the Lord wholeheartedly, there may be some who don't understand our actions. Yet we can act confidently, knowing that God is well pleased and will see to it that we are taken care of. So today, let us seek to honor the Lord in all that we do. Otherwise, we will become trapped in pleasing people who may never have our best interest in mind. Our motivation for doing good things shouldn't come from selfish ambition or making other people happy. True peace comes from knowing that every action is led by the Lord and for His glory. Pray with me. Heavenly Father, I ask that you deliver me from people pleasing. Teach me to no longer be a slave to other people's opinions and expectations of me. Instead, let my actions honor you and reflect your heart. I thank you that you see it all and that your rewards far outweigh what any person could give me. Lead me, Lord, to act in accordance with your will. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Well, happy Monday, everybody. I hope it's a happy Monday for you, whoever you are, wherever you are. If you're a trader, you're probably pretty excited. If you're a buy and hold investor, you may be a little downtrodden today. But remember, the markets were created, the markets as we know them, not individual stocks, but the indices, were built to go higher over time. And so this drop that we've seen in the indices today, the NQ putting in a 3-month low, that's just the truth about trading. The indices were designed to always go higher over time. The S&P, the Dow, the Russell, the NQ. The S&P, as an example, is 500 large cap companies. Now, they're not a part of the S&P 500 just because they're a large cap company. The board over at Standard & Poor's decides who gets in and who gets out, kicked out, based on a long list of qualifications. And so whenever one of the companies that is part of the S&P 500 starts to show weakness, they miss their numbers, they are shown the door, and a brand new, strong, bullish company is brought in to take their place. So over time, yes, there'll be drawdowns and pullbacks and days where the bottom fall out like today. But over time, the market will always trade higher. Now, individual stocks can go to zero, but the indices, because of the way they're built, never will. So hopefully you can take some peace and comfort in that. All right, let's start here in the U.S. with the cash markets, or the indices as they're called. The Dow currently down 456 points. That's 1.25%. The NASDAQ is down 326 points. That's a little over 2%. The S&P 500 is down 75 points. That's over 1.5%. And the Russell 2000 down 29 points, which is a little over 1.25%. So all of the four major indices are down over 1%. We've got one down over 1.5%, and the NQ is down over 2%. In the commodity basket, crude oil down 52 cents, trading 78.38 last. Gold down $4.20, trading 17.9320 last. Silver down 2 cents, trading 22.38 last. In the Asian markets at the close, the Nikkei was down 9 points. The Shanghai was up 13. The Hang Seng gained 253 points, which is a gain of a little over 1%. In the European markets, at the close, the FTSE down 40, DAX down 179, the CAC down 103. For the DAX, that's a drop of a little over 1%. And for the CAC, that's a drop of almost 1.5%. So the only green on the screen today, really, the Shanghai up 13 points. And the Hang Seng, the big winner of the day, up 253 points. So it was a mixed day in Asia, a red day in the UK. And so far, it's a big red Radio Monday here in the US of A. So with that, we'll go to Michael and get a recap of what happened in the live training room this morning. After that, I'll be back and we will take a look at the Logic 247 alerts, the concierge trade alerts, and I think Garrett is going to join us a little bit later in the show today. I'll check with him to make sure while Michael is going over the recap. I can see your charts, Michael. It's all yours. Take it away.
All right. Hey, I just wanted to let you know you have a meeting scheduled for this afternoon, and I do at the same time. I'll use GoToWebinar for that meeting. Okay, if you want to use GoToMeeting.
Okay, that's fine either.
Or the other way around. It's up to you. But
I'm happy to use either one. So you pick one. Just let me know.
I'll use GoToMeeting because the fellow that I'm meeting with is used to GoToMeeting.
Okay.
Actually, no, you're going to be meeting with Ashley. You use GoToMeeting. You use GoToMeeting. I'll use GoToWebinar.
Okay. Either way is fine. They both function the same, basically. So.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. From our end. Okay. All right. Just wanted to let you know.
Okay.
All right. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Monday, the 10th day of January, 2022. All right. So, if you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to take a free trial with us, go here to eminitrainingschool.com. On this page, all that we ask for is your first name, your email, and your phone number. You can tell us the biggest trading channel so we can tailor one-on-one training just for you. Hit the send button, you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link. Okay, if you don't click on that link, we don't know that you took the free trial, so make sure you click that link, okay? Okay, spreadsheet. Now, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today is the 10th day of January, 2022. We need 24 ticks in crude, 12 ticks in gold, and 17 ticks on the ES. Put us at plus 572.5 on the morning session. Today it took 4 minutes and one trade. It was actually like about 15 seconds, but it just said 4 minutes on the clock. 4 minutes and one trade to get to $100 a contract, and we took a total of 27 trades this morning. So on the month now, we're at $5,347 a contract. That's over 6 trading days, averaging $891 per contract per 2-hour trading day. Daniel, you said something went really good this morning. I'm kind of wondering what that was about. I didn't get to follow up. Okay, sorry, I was just going through to see who was in here. All right, so we've now gone 109 days since we've had our last down day, it looks like. And we've gotten our goal every day so far this year, 6 out of 6 days. Okay. All right. Let's get into the actual trades. Now, the trades are spread around pretty good today. So I'm just going to start out with the left and go to the right. Okay. In gold, let's see. Now, I was saying this morning, no, I said this was my first trade right here. I jumped in. I got here at 9:33.15. Threw this trade on, and then okay, so it was a good 40 seconds. Right at 9:33.52, it finished, and by the time I looked at the clock, it was 9:34 on the clock. So that's why I said it took 4 minutes. It was really 40 seconds. But that was our first trade. We picked up 10 ticks on that first one on gold. We had a break even there, then 8 ticks here. From there, we went 4 more ticks here to get 20. Then we stopped out back down to 12, and then we had a break even right in here. Now, there was something somewhere in here, right here. This is something I'm just going to show to everybody who didn't make it into the room this morning who might be a partner. This was an unusual thing this morning because now when price hits the BBC, you don't adjust the trend line anymore. Okay, and then it's just a race to see if you get a close above the trend line or the black step line gets below the BBC. All right. In this case, the next candle was a down close, but it was above the trend line. It was a down close above the trend line. So if you just listen to the words that I said a close above the trend line. It's got to be an up close above the trend line. Okay, an up close on or above the trend line, not a down close. All right, the down close was right here, but it's got to be an up close on or above the trend line. And that's why the entry was right here. I ended up with a break even on that one. But that was just an unusual thing that happened this morning. When it was actually happening, I didn't even have the trend line. I was just eyeballing it. I was saying, okay, if we get an up close on this bar, it's going to be a long trade. And I was like, okay, well, now it depends. If we get a down close on this bar, the black step line is going to cross down below the BBC. You're not going to get a trade. But if you get an up close, it's going to be a long trade. And I said, I'll have to go back to that. And then I went back to it and I drew the trend line. I explained it all this morning. But for anybody who's a partner who's in here now who wasn't there this morning, I just wanted to focus on that for you for a second. Okay, so on gold, that's what we ended up with. Overall, we ended up with plus 12. Okay, and during the break, there was one short right here, highest probability short right there off the BBC. And that was it. Okay. I'll do the ES last because the ES really tanked today, and I'll show you something that was interesting about the ES too. Now there was another unique thing where I screwed up a trade. Okay, I'll show you that in a minute. I stopped out on it when I messed it up. This one right here. That one you kind of had to be in the morning session, so I won't go into too much detail. But crude started out, we had a break even right here. Then we stopped out, so we're -8 right there. Then we picked up a couple of ticks there to get to -2. Then we had a break even. Then right here, we had a plus 20 to get us to plus 14. And we went from -8. Then we picked up 2 to get us to -6. Then we picked up 20 to get us to plus 14. Then 6 to get us to plus 20. Then I missed a trade there. Then I stopped out on this one to put me back down to 12. Now this one right here, again, I was eyeballing the trend line and I thought it went like this. Okay, that's why I went long on it, because I didn't notice that that one had a wick sticking up, and I eyeballed it and I got it wrong. And when I realized it after the fact, I mean, what I was looking at here when I was taking this trade, I said it out loud in the room this morning. I was looking at the DOM and I was like, well, okay, well, it's giving us a long trade on a close on the trend line. But again, I was eyeballing the trend line. I didn't draw it. I said, but I don't really see that it wants to go up. It looks like it wants to go down, because I was looking at the DOM and the DOM was saying it wanted to go down, but the charts were suggesting up. But then I took a better look at the charts and the charts were right, as they usually are. And I drew the trend line wrong in my mind, and so I stopped out. That was the mistake that I made this morning. So I was -8 ticks there, but it put me at -12 overall on the morning session. Then I picked up 4 ticks here to put me at 16, and then another 8 ticks there to put me at 24. And a break even right there, and I believe that was it. Yeah, during the break, it was just a bunch of garbage. Okay, but let's look at the big picture on this. Now, crude was having trouble with the BBC all morning. All right, it was get away from it, go back to it, get away from it, go back to it, get away from it, go back to it. And now it's struggling right in here. This area back here was a woo spot from a while back. And I don't know why I drew this orange line here, but it's coming into play again. And it was the bottom of this woo spot. It was the bottom right here. And I don't know where I started drawing that one. Probably back here when Dwayne and I were drawing all these woo spots during the afternoon session a while back. There's something else that I'm going to get into here on the ES that I drew a while back. This I drew on the 21st. All these horizontal lines that you see right here, they're mirrors of when I was projecting upward movements back on the 21st of December. That's where all of this came from, and they extend all the way to the right. They're rays that extend all the way to the right, and so they're still in play from back then. And you can see they worked out perfectly from back then. And these are mirror projections. And I'll show you. Let me go back here. Now I did this. One of the partners, I'm sure he's probably not here right now. No, he's not. See if you go all the way back here, right here. This is where it started. See, I did the projection going up, and I was looking for the projections. Oops, I was looking for the projections on the upside at the time. Back when we were approaching Christmas and the end of the year, and I was suggesting it was going to get up to 48.25, and then the downside when it retraced was going to be 47.20. And all of that happened, but these are things that I was using while I was getting to those numbers, and these are mirror projections of all those numbers. And if I scroll slowly over, you'll see that these all came into play, and these came into play today. Okay, if I scroll all the way over here, all those other things that I said happened, and you see how this ended up being a significant thing. Then right here, we went right through that one, but down to this one, this became a significant thing, and then right down to that one to the tick. Now, what I was anticipating here during the break, it pulled back deeper than I thought it was going to. I thought when it was down here and it hit this and it was starting to go up, I was thinking it was going to go halfway through like this, but it went all the way back to the top. And so what I see is if it breaks through here, we have a woo spot down here. Now, this woo spot started back here on the 21st. Okay, this woo spot is right here to here. If you look over here, congestion to congestion right there. Okay, and so that carries all the way over to here now. And what I was looking for was a move halfway through the woo spot down to here, then a pullback up to here, then another push down to here. That's what I was looking for. So that's all larger time frame stuff. Now, get into the smaller stuff, and you know, there were plenty of trades to go around. Our first trade on the ES was right here. We had +8 ticks on that one, +2 there to get us to +10. Then we stopped out, put us back down to 2. 1 tick to +3. Then 4 ticks to +7. Then 4 more ticks to +11. Then we had a break even, and finally 10 ticks to +21. And stop out. Nope, we had a break even. Oops. Looks like there's something here I didn't count. And I don't know why I wasn't doing anything all through that, but there's the stop out that put us back down to 13, and then a +4 to get us to 17. So there was something in there that I didn't count. And at this point, we were at +17. So this is where it went up and it hit the top. Let's see. Yeah, it was still that candle. Okay, so this is where it went up and it hit the top of this right here, pretty much to the tick up there at 46.08. Okay, right here. And then it failed off of that dramatically. There was a short there. There was a short there. Cycle reset all through here. You see how you had bullish separation, but the black step line never got above the BBC. Cycle reset all through there. Then it was really struggling trying to reset through here because that was such a steep drop right there. And it didn't actually get reset until all the way over here. It gave a long trade right here, followed up by another long trade right there. And then it turned around and gave you another short there. And that's pretty much it. It gave a long there, a long there. This would have been break even. This would have been a nice profitable trade. And that was really it. So the market was given a lot of information today, and it was using a lot of stuff from 2 weeks ago, almost 3 weeks ago now. But when you start tanking like that on a larger time frame, you got to look on a larger time frame and see all the way left. Just keep looking left. Like, I mean, you could flip this to a 4-hour chart and it might be a little easier to see. Yeah, if you look all the way back here. Now these lines, yeah, these lines were drawn. Yeah, this is where it was, right? Right down here was my woo spot. So back here on a 4-hour chart, you can still see the same woo spot right there to right there. Okay, and basically the same thing here too on a 4-hour chart from there to there. All right, I'm gonna pump that back to a 30-minute and do this. All right, so that was all that I wanted to go over. Now let's go back here to the spreadsheet again. If you you're going to read this, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today's the 10th day of January 2022. Made 24 ticks in crude, 12 ticks in gold, and 17 ticks on the ES. Put us at plus 572.5 on the morning session. Today it took 4 minutes in one trade to get to the goal for the day. At that point, it was up $100 a contract, and I took a total of 27 trades. On a month now, I'm up $5,347. That's over 6 trading days, averaging $891 per contract per 2-hour trading day. I've now gone 109 consecutive days since my last down day, and 6 out of 6 of getting my goal this year. Okay, that's getting my goal this year. I think I should probably add getting my goal this year to last year's. Maybe that's what I'll make that number pair down there. Okay, well, either way, that's all the information. And this monthly stuff is the same on the year right now. So we're at 53.47 on the month, 53.47 on the year. We're only 6 days into the year as well as a month, so all that stuff's the same. All right. If you've not taken a free trial, go here to eminitrainingschool.com. Okay. If there's anybody new in here, this is the important part. Go here and put in your first name, your email, your phone number. You can tell us the biggest training challenge so we can tailor one-on-one training just for you. Hit the send button and you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link, okay? If you don't click that link, we don't know that you took the free trial, so make sure you click on that link, all right? All right, that's it. With that, we can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne, if you are ready.
I'm ready.
Excellent. Okay. I can almost see your chart.
Recap of the recap.
There you go. Okay, today it took 4 minutes and 1 trade to get to $100 per contract.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okie doke. All right. That's what happened the first 2 hours of Wall Street since the markets opened last night at 6 p.m. Eastern. Logic 247. That's our around-the-clock 24/7 Emini alert service, which includes crude, gold, and silver. We're in week 180 now. And we've issued about 9,400 and something individual alerts over the last 180 weeks. Since the markets opened last night, we've issued a total of 22 alerts. 1 never triggered. Still waiting on the outcome of 5. 16 actionable alerts, of which 1 or 6% would have been stopped out based on not risking more than $300 per contract per trade, less when possible, based on market structure and a very simple 3-step process that we teach all of our traders. Now, along with the Logic 247 alerts, we still have our original alert service, the concierge trade alerts. The format is different. The concierge alerts are posted as a static report shortly after the Globex open. Last night it was 25 minutes after the open. Whatever market you trade, you should make note of the price of that market at the time this report is published. Because once the report is published, if price starts trending up, in the case of the ES, towards 46.83, that's bullish, our strategy will look for opportunities to be long the market. That's where you'll use Logic 247 and everything you learn in the live training room to yourself find opportunities to be long the market. If, on the other hand, price starts trending down towards 46.44, then our strategy will look for opportunities to be short the market, and that's where you'll use Logic 247 and everything you learn in the room each morning to yourself find opportunities to be short the market. We'll walk through each and every one of these markets. If you want to take a snapshot, you can do that right now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right. take a look at a couple of headlines, and then we'll dive into the charts themselves. The Taliban has arrested a Kabul University law and political science professor in the latest sign of an escalating crackdown by Afghanistan's new government, according to the Wall Street Journal. This professor gained national fame for confronting a Taliban official in a debate on live TV, calling Mohammed Naeem, the spokesperson for the Taliban's political office in Doha, a terrorist and a kafir, a common Afghan insult, suggesting someone lacks intelligence. The Taliban's chief spokesperson confirmed the arrest via Twitter and called Jalal, this is the university professor, a fanatic, posting screenshots of anti-Taliban messages on social media that Jalal's relatives said were fake. The 2022 Golden Globe winners were announced after a private ceremony. The Hollywood Foreign Press Association on Sunday night announced the 2022 Golden Globe winners following a private ceremony in Beverly Hills. On the comedy and musical side, Hacks won the Best TV Series. Its star, Jean Smart, won Best Performance by an Actress in a TV Series. And Ted Lasso's Jason Sudeikis won for Best Actor. West Side Story won Best Picture. And the musical star, Rachel Zegler, took the Acting Award. Succession won for the Best TV Drama Series. And The Power of the Dog won Best Motion Picture. Will Smith, King Richard, and Nicole Kidman, being the Ricardos, took the acting awards in the film drama category. Other winners include The Underground Railroad for the Best Limited Series. And our hearts, our thoughts, and prayers are with the family of Bob Saget, who died at 65. The comedian was best known for his breakout role as a wholesome widowed dad, Danny Tanner, on the sitcom Full House. He was found dead in his Ritz-Carlton Orlando Grand Lakes hotel room on Sunday. The local sheriff's department said the cause of death was under investigation, but there were no signs of foul play or drug use. Senator Ron Johnson announces a re-election bid despite his pledge not to seek a third term. Senator Ron Johnson, Republican from Wisconsin, a strong supporter of former President Donald Trump, announced Sunday he would run for re-election, reversing a previous pledge not to seek a third term. Johnson has been a leading voice among Republicans who have downplayed the significance of the January 6, 2021 attack on the Capitol. A Bronx apartment building fire killed 19. This happened yesterday, including 9 children. New York City Mayor Eric Adams said, "We've lost 19 of our neighbors today. It's a tragedy beyond measure." The blaze started around 11 a.m. in a 19-floor building. About 60 people were injured. 32 of them were hospitalized with life-threatening injuries. Smoke spread to every floor in the building. The city's fire department commissioner said investigators determined that a malfunctioning electric space heater in a bedroom likely started the fire. At least 164 people have died in a week of anti-government protests in Kazakhstan. The dead include a 4-year-old girl. The Office of the President said that nearly 6,000 people have been arrested in the worst unrest the nation has experienced since gaining its independence 30 years ago. The demonstrations broke out on January 2nd over rising fuel prices and quickly spread. The President's office said that authorities had brought the situation under control and were conducting cleanup operations. The nationwide state of emergency and curfew remained in effect as of yesterday. The U.S. Secretary of State, Blinken, called for the president to rescind his shoot-to-kill order against protesters, of which I'm sure the Kazakhstan president chuckled heartily. What a tragedy. What a tragedy. Russia and the United States today launched a week of what a top Russian diplomat predicted would be difficult talks in Geneva over Russia's military buildup near Ukraine. After a working dinner on Sunday to kick off the discussions, Russian Deputy Foreign Minister said Moscow would not make any concessions under pressure. The meetings mark a first step towards a dialogue on diffusing tensions over Russia's deployment of 100,000 troops along its border with Ukraine, which has stoked concerns over Russian invasion. Blinken told ABC's This Week that he was not counting on any breakthroughs during the bilateral talks or during conversations in Brussels later this week at a meeting of the NATO-Russia Council. And the U.S. hits average of over 700,000 new COVID-19 cases per day. In tech headlines, Amazon warehouse managers describe cutthroat working conditions. During peak season, typically around the holidays, many managers said they have to work mandatory overtime, or in some cases, come in an additional day to help with the workload without receiving overtime pay. Some said the pressure to reach goals can trickle down to the rest of their team, forcing them to implement extreme boot camp-like strategies to incentivize subordinates to meet Amazon's metrics. In a memo to superiors, one manager described working at Amazon like drinking through the fire hose underwater while a group of people try to prevent you from coming up for air. This memo caught the attention of an HR vice president who asked his colleagues to come up with ideas on how to overcome many of the points raised. At this point, it's unclear if any solutions have been made. Meta, which is the parent company now of Facebook, signed a huge lease in Austin. Facebook's parent company will rent 589,000 square feet of office space across 33 floors of the city's soon-to-be largest skyscraper. Speaking of that, you can now sign up as a beta tester at the metaversestartshere.com. Alphabet's secret quantum technology group plans to spin out into an independent company. The group, known as Sandbox, focuses on software and experimental quantum projects. According to two insiders, its leader, Jack Hidary, is now looking to turn Sandbox into its own separate company. Venture capitalists have been relentlessly bullish on Web3, which is proving to be one of tech's most divisive ideas in years. Tesla boss Elon Musk and ex-Twitter chief Jack Dorsey have both questioned its merits, while investors are betting that it could become the next generation of the internet. Solano could be a Bitcoin killer. Blockchain platform Solana's market cap has gone up more than 62,000% in the past year, and experts are saying it may soon become one of the top 3 crypto platforms. Meta has been sued over the killing of a federal security guard. The guard's sister sued the platform for allegedly knowingly promoting extremist content that contributed to his death. The suspected gunman had ties to a far-right extremist movement cited in several Facebook groups. Cats love Elon Musk's Starlink satellite dishes. The dishes radiate heat, and as parts of the country see heavy snowfall, people are taking to Twitter to report cats curling up on the satellites to shield themselves from the cold weather. Not sure how that affects reception. China has just revealed a new driverless bullet train designed specifically for the 2022 Olympics. The driverless FLUCTUATION, and that's FUXING bullet train, travels at 217 miles per hour to shuttle passengers to and from Olympic venues. What? No driver on the top? Some of you will get that, and others will have to Google it. Disney has patented new virtual world simulator technology. The company has won approval for a patent to project 3D images on objects throughout its parks. The tech would track visitors and project personalized images for them without needing a headset or goggles. And that's all in the news that's fit to read. So with that, let's go to a daily chart of the S&P 500 E-mini futures. Now, on our last leg up, where we put in a low on December 3rd and the new all-time historic high on January 4th, we've now come down through the daily BBC. First, 24% fib, then the daily BBC, then the 38% fib retracement, then the 50. Now we've broken the 62. And while we have this old trend line still down here from days gone by, this looks like a pretty obvious one right here. So we'll keep an eye on that. In fact, let's see if we got a price channel going on. Come on. Come on. Doesn't want to move. There, we got a little movement out of it. Must be some heavy volume pressing through. All right, we'll try that one more time. Okay. And we'll see if it's going to let us move it into position. Apparently it's not at the moment. Well, yeah. But not in sync with the move. Yeah, there's something big going on. Well, it's still not in place, but I'm not going to worry with it. you get the idea. There is a price channel here off this high up to this high, which is a parallel of this line from here to here. Okay. Overhead, we've got resistance at the 62, above that the 50, above that the 38. And then, of course, we have the step line and the BVC. And above that, we have red and falling. I'm going to put you on hold for just one moment. All right. We'll restart and see if this thing wants to cooperate yet. Yeah, that's pretty close to a smooth move. Alright, so that's what we're working with. Take out this trend line, next area for support would be this swing low, and then this low here. So far the trend line acting as support. We'll see if it holds the remainder of the session. On the S&P. Let's shrink it up so it fits on the screen. Okay, last night's long CTA never triggered. The short CTA was at 46.44. The vertical line separates today, the Sunday-Monday session, from the Friday session. So again, no trigger on the long side. These are last week's weekly trading zones. I don't update them on the show until Tuesday, because Sunday night all alerts are based, and CTAs are based on the previous week's weekly trading zones. We closed the week last week below the lowest weekly trading zone on not only the S&P but on a couple other markets as well. And because it was such a powerful move, normally I would say once an alert triggers, there's a greater probability of it triggering multiple times than not triggering multiple times. That's still true. This is an anomaly. In fact, price attempted to reach up and retrigger, but the bearish pressure was just too much. If you did anything other than sell the market today, if you're an S&P trader, well, looking at this 30-minute chart, you can see why you should not have been trading long. Price is below the 30-minute BVC, since the Wall Street Open, since before the Wall Street Open. Here's the bearish cross right there at 6 a.m. Eastern this morning. And it's been all downhill since then. Now, even in a strong down move, there will be bounces. This bounce up to red and falling was quickly sold off. We now bounced back up to that high where we got rejected. If buyers are truly committed, they could drive price up to the BBC. And if that happens, we'll then look for another opportunity to be short the market. If price takes out this little double bottom right here, then we'll take advantage of this window of opportunity to the downside. So from 46.44 down to our low of the session, which was 45. For the sake of math, we'll call it 45.74. So 644 minus 574. That's 70 points. At $50 a point, that's $3,500 per contract traded. And we do have an official exit signal. As you'll notice on the way down, the step line is on the left side of red and falling. That's bearish. When the move starts to run out of steam, number one, price will start to walk sideways. But the thing you really want to watch for is the step line. When the step line crosses from the left side to the right side of red and falling, then you look for the first green candle that closes above the step line, and that is the official exit price. And the closing price of that candle was 45.99.25. Call it 4,600. That'd be 44 points at $50 a point. It'd be over $2,000 per contract traded. On the down. No trigger on the long side. One trigger on the short side. Short trigger was 35.965. And we dropped to the trade to target, which in this case was the weekly trading zone below, because we did not close the week below last week's lowest weekly trading zone. 35.690 was last week's lowest weekly zone. So from 965 we got 275 points at $5 a point. It's $1,375 per contract traded. Now that's from the published entry to the published target. The price did continue lower, and it is now consolidating at last week's lowest weekly trading zone. On the Russell, $21.82 was last week's lowest weekly trading zone. Here's the open last night. We dropped off the open. We pulled up to last week's lowest weekly zone. The weekly zones are published Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. So on Sunday night and into Monday and sometimes even Tuesday, previous week's zone still holds sway over the market. So while you should put the new zones on your chart as soon as they're published, don't throw the old zones out with the bathwater, as they used to say, because of this very reason. When the rest of the world thought the market had found a bottom here, and bought the rally, our traders had a pretty good idea that the market was going to run into resistance there. It did. That resistance turned into a bearish cross. Again, you'll see on the extended move, you've got the step line on the left side of red and falling. Down here, price has started to walk sideways, but the step line has crossed to the right side of red and falling. So the first green candle that closes above that step line, that would be the official exit signal. Now, the short CTA was actually 2158, not 0.1. And so, from 2158 just down to this low here, before we had the retracement, we went to 2130. So that's 28 points times $50 a point. It's $1,400 per contract traded. On the NQ, no trigger on the long side, short side trigger. Notice the step line on the left side of red and falling until right here it crosses over. Well, once it crosses over, the first green candle that closes above the step line, that's the official exit signal. Now, from 15,500 down to a low of 15,153. So 500 minus 153, that's 347 points at $20 a point. $6,940 per contract traded from the published entry to the swing low. Getting out of the swing low is extremely difficult, or a swing high, because no one knows it's a swing low or swing high until after the fact. That's where the official exit signal comes into play. And so this candle closed at 15,321 and a quarter, so we'll call it 322. So 500 minus 322, it's 178 points at $20 a point. It's $3,560 per contract traded from the published entry to the official exit signal. So that covers the four major indices. We'll go to crude oil. Crude oil had a long CTA at 79.45. Price got rejected there. The short CTA was 77. 77.85. $79.45, 77.85. Here it is, right here. That line was from something we were doing last week. Must have been a CTA from last week. And so we haven't triggered on the long CTA, and we haven't triggered Or we may have barely triggered. Let's see. Let's get a straight line going here. All right. So 77.85. The swing low of this candle, 77.83. So it went 2 ticks over the line, got rejected, sent back up to the BBC. Let's get rid of this line so it's not confusing. This is last week's weekly trading zone. So price spiked the zone, went 2 ticks over the CTA. When the market finds support, it goes and looks for resistance, which it found at the BBC. That's what we expect. When price pulls back to the BBC, whether it's from above or below, from above we expect it to be support. From below we expect it to be resistance. And when the market finds resistance, it's going to go look for support, which it found at last week's zone. And now price is kind of just hanging right here. Got resistance at red and falling. If this resistance holds, then we should see lower prices in crude. On gold. Gold we triggered neither on the long side at 1804 nor the short side at 1784. Here's where the market opened. Price came down, found support at the weekly trading zone, caught a bounce up to the area that we highlighted last week as potential resistance, and it will remain resistance until broken. And we've got price above the BBC, so we anticipate higher prices. We anticipate this area will be resistance until proven otherwise. Then we've got the long CTA at 1804, and then the target when the CTA was published last night was 1808. The current weekly zone will put the target at 1810. So that would be a $600 per contract move. Silver. Silver, we get rejected here, 22.24. We make a little drop to 22.20. That's a couple $100 per contract traded. And then the long trigger was at 22.48. And we put in a swing. We had 1, 2, 3, it was like 4 triggers. The swing high was 22.52. That's 4 pennies. 100 pennies is 5 grand. 50 pennies is 2,500. 25 pennies in price movement. The price $22.59. When price goes from $21 to $22, if you're trading futures, that's $5,000 per contract traded. And so on this most recent trigger, 22.48, we've put in a high, 22.52. So we've mimicked that 4-point move. Okay. And the last market is the euro. CTA on the long side last night for the 6E was 11.3895. Right here. So that never triggered. And then the short CTA was 11.3490. Price came right down to the published target. When the market finds support, it's going to go look for resistance. So it got back above the trigger, found resistance at the BBC, which sent it back down to the published target, which sent it back up to the BBC, which sent it back down to the published target. And so after all this consolidation at last week's weekly trading zone, price finally broke below and almost made it to the weekly trading zone below, which is 920/925. The actual swing low was 11,290, right there. That brings us all the way back to the daily chart. Okay, off this trend line, price has now bounced to the 62. Now, these are Fibonacci price retracements. And so on the way down, we expect them to be support. But as price starts to bounce or move higher, what was once support can often become resistance. So be very careful with a long trade right here on the ES. Because the daily chart, the larger the time frame, the more important the information it conveys. So the chance of us going back to test the low of the session, I think, still remains pretty significant. Now, in order to have access to all the things we've talked about today, the live training room every day with a live instructor, putting on, taking off trades live in real time, explaining every trade he takes, every move he makes, and the rule behind it, along with answering your questions while you trade along in the simulator. That's one part of the passport. The other part of the passport is unlimited one-on-one mentoring. We teach you our proprietary methodology, which works not only on futures, but stocks, crypto, Forex. As a CFRN lifetime passport holder, you own the indicator set for life. You receive the Logic 247 alerts around the clock. You receive the concierge trade alerts. You have access to the Thursday night members-only workshops. All that and much more. Everything a trader needs, all under one roof, one low price. Every trader is either going to end up in this group or this group. The biggest difference between the two is simply having someone teach you how to trade. Not teach you about markets, not teach you about indicators, but actually teach you how to trade. Huge difference. Now, you can try to learn how to trade from books or videos. And we have nothing against either one. We have one book in particular that we give a free copy to all of our members. And we have thousands of videos of our own, but there's no replacing a live instructor and live markets answering your questions as you trade along in the simulator. Now, I'd love to tell you that a CFRN lifetime passport would guarantee you to be the 1 out of 10. But I can't, because I don't know what you're going to do with the information we give you. I don't know if you're going to show up to class every day. I don't know if you're going to ask lots of questions so you actually learn. I don't know if you're going to put the mouse away once you get your goal for the day. See, these are things that I don't know. That's on you. I don't know if you have the patience and discipline that is required to become a trader. So those are questions that you have to answer for yourself. If you want to become a part of the family, if you want to have access to everything I just spoke about, and all of our different Telegram channels. We have a Telegram channel, a private channel for the weekly zones, for the concierge trade alerts, for the Logic 247 alerts. We have a private discussion group where there's people talking and posting pretty much around the clock. All of that is yours for life once you purchase a passport. But again, a passport alone doesn't guarantee you success in the markets. You've got to actually go to work. Let's face it, if it were easy, everybody would be doing it. But most people don't have a teacher. They don't have a business plan. They don't have a trading plan. They lack the patience and discipline to actually wait for a high probability, low risk trade setup. In most cases, they don't even know what a high probability, low risk trade looks like. These are the things that we teach you. You can grab your passport simply by going to eminifuturestrading.com. If you have questions, you can call Valerie at 949-42-EMINI, and you can always email support@cfrn.net. And that brings us to our good word for the day. Now, we spent the last 5 days talking about how to be fruitful. Today, I'm going to start the week out with something a little different. Weighing your words carefully. James 3:2 says, if we could control our tongues, we would be perfect and could also control ourselves in every other way. The power of life and death is in the tongue. When it comes to your tongue, here are 3 rules. Number 1, don't speak too quickly. We all make many mistakes. For if we could control our tongues, we could also control ourselves in every other way. Because you can never be totally aware of all the sensitivities of a person, you must rely on the Holy Spirit to direct your speech in a way that doesn't tap into their pain or other negative experiences. Everybody has a different sensitivity level, depending on their past experiences. That includes you too, and me. So practice not being easily offended and giving others the benefit of the doubt when they say something that could be misconstrued as offensive. Number 1 was don't speak too quickly. Number 2 is don't respond too quickly. Proverbs 18:13 says, to answer before listening, that is folly and shame. How often have you been in a conversation with someone, perhaps at a dinner party, perhaps at an after-church potluck, and somebody's trying to explain something to you, and instead of actually listening to what they're saying, because you think you already know what they're going to say, you just wish they'd shut up so that you could spout your pearl of wisdom. We're all guilty of that at some point or another, and we need to work towards not being guilty of that. Before you speak, listen carefully and make sure you understand what is really being said. We all think we're very smart, very clever. We know what they're going to say. If they would just shut up, we could tell them the truth about the matter. But no, they drone on and on. You need to give that person the respect they deserve by letting them say whatever it is they need to say and actually listen to what they say, because it might turn out that they say something different than what you thought they were going to say. But you won't ever know that if you're just simply waiting for them to shut up so that you can speak truth into their life. If you don't do this, you need to look good, because you can cause you to lose respect in the eyes of the person you're seeking to impress. So, number 1, don't speak too quickly. Number 2, don't respond too quickly. Number 3, this is a big one, don't commit too quickly. Solomon writes, do not be rash with your mouth, and let not your heart utter anything hastily before God. Ecclesiastes 5:2. Then he goes on to explain how we shouldn't try to drop out of a commitment by saying we made a mistake. Your word is your bond, and when you break a promise, you hurt people and forfeit their trust. So pause before you speak, and if need be, take time to pray about it. Your time and your words are two things that can never be taken back. So carefully weigh what you say. How often have you been in a meeting, at work, at church, at the local school board, where somebody's looking for volunteers or somebody to do this or do that, and because you want to please people and you want to look important, you jump up with your hand in the air, I'll do that. And before your butt even hits the seat, you realize you just bit off more than you can chew. Where are you going to find the time, the energy, or the resources to do this? Now, if you take time to pray about it first, and God confirms that that is what He wants you to do, well, then you can still let whoever was in charge know that you will do that. You will assume that responsibility. You will take on that task, whatever it is. If you agree to be a greeter at church, that means you got to show up at church every Sunday an hour early. If you're going to be a part of the hospitality team, not only do you have to show up at church an hour early every Sunday, when, as you know, you're usually there 15 minutes late, but there's probably a midweek meeting where the hospitality team gets together and brainstorms to decide if what they're doing is working, and if not, how they can do it better. So again, when it comes to your tongue, and the power of life and death is in the tongue, number 1, don't speak too quickly. Number 2, don't respond too quickly. And number 3, don't commit too quickly. And that's our good word for the day. And William, if you had stuck around, I would have answered your question for you. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.